Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free and News from Blaseball. My name's Colin, and with me as always is my frustrated friend, compadre, son, podcaster, and all-round nice guy, Thomas.
Yeah, there's no baseball news this week.
Hey, yes, there is.
Well, I bought a shirt, but that's
there we
not,
go. Merchandise.
That's not strictly baseball news.
It is news to me. I now recognise that there is definitely merch.
It's all fan merch and proceeds go to charity.
Okay. When are we putting out our t-shirt? And would you have still under wraps on the front and cellulose free on the back?
Oh.
Who's to say? If anyone out there is really keen, too bad. Sounds like too much work to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing else is happening in my life right now.
That's not true either. All week I have heard murmurings of strummings of ooks coming from your room.
That's not really things happening in my life.
It is. It sounds wonderful. Is this heading towards something?
Probably not, no.
Oh. We're not going to release a special episode of just your piece of music?
No, that seems...
Okay, dear listener, if you want to hear Thomas's latest performance on the ook and singing, there were vocals. I heard vocals coming from the room as well.
Look, I'm just playing songs that I like and that I can do the chords to.
Right. So this is somebody else's song?
A bunch of different songs. Okay. I've been pulling up chord charts.
Excellent. How many chords do you know?
A few chords.
Good. A few meaning two?
No, more than that.
Right. Okay. Good. We apologise for the scratching noise. The deranged cat studio extends into his toilet, as you could hear.
Hi, hello, by the way.
This has just gone off on a really weird tangent. Wasn't it fun?
Yeah, your fault.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to watch a film.
We are.
Oh, Cat. Come on. It's buried. Cat. Yeah. He will continue to bury it. Yes, we are watching a film today. What are we watching?
We're watching Marvel Studios' Thor Ragnarok.
How do you know that?
Well, it's right across from me, right there. It says Marvel Studios.
Sorry.
It says Marvel Studios apostrophe Thor Ragnarok.
Right, I was actually looking for this button. Hoping for a... There we go. A plot synopsis.
The one that I'd already brought up on my iPad.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, I'll hit resume then. No, Thomas, would you be so kind as to read the plot Shush!
No, this is on you. This is on you.
Okay, Thomas, for a third time, would you be so kind as to read the plot synopsis for Thor Ragnarok for our dear listener who is unfamiliar with the plot synopsis of Thor Ragnarok?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thor must race against time to stop the seemingly imminent Ragnarok, a cataclysmic event that could end all of Asgardian civilization. Imprisoned on the other side of the universe and without his mighty hammer, Thor must overcome the odds to ensure that Asgard does not fall into the hands of the ruthless Hela. But first he must face off against a fellow Avenger in a gladiatorial contest.
Ah, Ant-Man.
No, it's not Ant-Man.
Lava Girl.
That's not Marvel.
Oh.
That's Robert Rodriguez.
Okay, so we're going to watch Thor Ragnarok. We haven't even dragged out the disc. We have popped it up on not Netflix, a Disney Plus, and we're going to watch it.
Very specific, legally distinct Disney streaming service.
Yes. And we're going to watch it and decide whether it stays on Disney Plus.
Such power in our hands.
Absolutely. So, you may notice it either staying or going before this even releases to your ears. Who is to say?
It's not us.
So, yes, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B.
No. Oh, I lost my notes. I actually made some notes.
You did you?
I did. So what did you think?
Oh, we're recording. Right.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're recording, yes.
It remains a very, very good film.
It really does. And I was trying to... And I did make some notes. I was trying to place why this worked so well. I think there is no argument that it has a lot to do with the director.
Mm-hmm.
And him absolutely owning Thor.
Mm-hmm.
and throwing out a lot of what had already happened. As far as the previous two Thor films that were strictly Thor films, completely different feel with this one. It was filled with humour, and I registered that right from the start when I first watched. You can't help but notice it when you've got a almost breaking of the fourth wall, or at least that's what it seems at the beginning. A breaking of the fourth wall in the opening, and then it just keeps on. It's more fun, and up to that point, I think the funnest that I'd had with a Marvel film had been Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
This actually works the humour even better, I think. Looking back at the previous two Thor films, it's a dangerous game to suddenly take this new slant, taking the source material and absolutely slapping your mark on it. And probably the first time I registered that ever happening was having watched the first two Harry Potter films, and they were perfectly serviceable as far as they went, but it really was I'm telling the Harry Potter story as closely as I can to the... Chris Columbus went by the book, essentially. And then the third film, Alfonso Cuarón,
Yes,
did the third film and knew absolutely that he could not do it by the book. There was just too much, and he knew that he had to cut things out of it. And so he grabbed that by the horns and put his stamp on it. It's still one of my favourite Harry Potter films, in that he, again, threw out the style of the first two movies and put his style on it. and that worked. I really, as I say, it was my favourite. Possibly the time that it hasn't worked for me, and this is going to be controversial, would be The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson well and truly put his stamp on that, and I never embraced it, whereas with the third Harry Potter movie and with this Thor Ragnarok, once you realised this is different, I accepted with both of those. This is good, different. Rian Johnson, he did not do that for me. So,
well, that's interesting, because The Last Jedi is my favourite Star Wars film.
Isn't that interesting?
And I disagree with you on why The Rise of Skywalker went poorly. Which is the...
Anyway, getting back to Thor Ragnarok... no, sorry, I will not cut you off.
Which is not so much that JJ had a difficult thing to follow up, and I don't disagree, he did have a difficult thing to follow up, but instead of following it up, he ignored much of it, and just went back to what he was doing with episode 7.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. It was completely ugly and messy, and so in that respect, I would have preferred, even though I did not embrace Last Jedi, I think he should have been given the opportunity to wrap things up and keep things going the way he... it was wrong that J.J. Abrams jumped back onto...
I believe the idea was to have a third director for that final film.
Yep, and that possibly would have worked better too. So I guess that's a story for another day. Note that I didn't say I hated The Last Jedi. I just didn't... I found it too jolting from what I was used to. And for some people that was a good thing. For me, it didn't. However, with Thor Ragnarok, it actually saved, I think, Thor for me. That being said, it is such an ensemble film.
It is.
It isn't just Thor. There are so many characters in this film that are given enough screen time to grow and develop and be loved even more. I think that's another thing why I love this film so much, in that it isn't a Carrie Carrie Thor. It's carrying so many more and introducing new characters as well, who also you grow to love, and that is a dangerous thing to do. And an evil character who it is really... I have found so often female evil characters are really, really cliched.
Mm-hmm.
This gets really, really close, but it doesn't. And again, it's the director's humour that carries all of the characters, in that it's almost winking at you and saying, well, let's just have fun with this. Even the bad people you can have fun with, but you still hate them, and you can still see them doing nasty, horrible, terrible things, but you still like them. Which,
the humour's just so good.
Yeah,
It's
and it was totally lacking in the first two Thor movies. Sorry, not totally lacking. There were certainly bits.
Yeah. The first one had a bit of humour, and the second one was dry.
Yeah, it was. But this saved the Thor character for me. I did quite enjoy the first one, but it was very much by the numbers. This just veered in so many different directions that felt absolutely right.
I don't know how much more to say.
No, and I've...
It's recent enough that it's a little difficult.
It is, yeah. And yes, I've only fairly recently rewatched it. But the other thing is that I still was engrossed in it. I was worried that because I'd seen it so recently that I would get distracted. You didn't get distracted much.
No, it's...
You barely looked at your second screen during that. So yeah, it absolutely scores as far as that's concerned. The soundtrack and the closing credits, and it was interesting making that connection because early on in the film, I'm thinking this very much sounds like early 90s computer game music. 16-bit computer game music. The Amiga especially, because that's what I was familiar with at the time, with sequences and what have you. But then when the closing credits came, and you've basically got major elements of a parallax scrolling shoot 'em up as the 16-bit music played, and it worked so well. And when it wasn't doing that, it was solid orchestral as well. So yeah,
I don't know. What's my favourite joke? What's my favourite joke from this? I think it might be Bruce Banner psyching himself up to jump out of the leisure ship.
Yep.
Thud.
Yeah.
Beat. Hulk.
I remember when first watching this, I thought, the Taika Waititi character, the director, playing the rock monster. I thought, it's already comedic, but he's here for the comic relief. This isn't going to work. But it did.
It does.
Yeah. Again, within seconds, once you embrace that, the scene where he scares off the ghost, it's just absolute perler. If there was anything that, and I'm going to be controversial again here, if there was anything that bugged me, it was the Jeff Goldblum character. Mainly because he was just being Jeff Goldblum, I think. Which is possibly extremely unfair.
There's good moments.
There are, and he was supported very well by, and I cannot remember her name, but she was in Hunt for the Wilder People.
Rachel House? Could
well be.
Yes, Rachel House.
Yeah. But again, playing much the same character. Yeah. But yeah, if I've got any gripe about this film, it would be Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum. And that was made up for very much so at the very, very end as well. So, except I thought he was going to be food. I would have taken that one step further and made him food. But I think he appears again, does he? Or is referred to...
Guardians 2 credits,
yes.
Possibly?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cameos in those credits.
There are, yes.
Footage of Jeff Goldblum dancing as the Grandmaster from the set of Thor Ragnarok is used briefly during the end credits.
Right. Fair enough. Yes. All right. So, absolutely loved it. Do you have anything else you wish to?
No, I think that's it.
Yep. But I cannot stress how much every single character just blossomed in this. They're all solid.
And clearly the film worked, because they went and gave Taika Waititi Thor Love and Thunder.
Yes. Yep. I think they recognised the tone and that it works, at least for Thor. And I say, run with it. Absolutely run with it. All right. Shall we move on?
Sure. The following segment is currently on fire. Have a nice day.
Do we have anything to move on to?
That's a good question. I'm not sure we do.
I don't think we do. We're speaking to an empty room.
Right, well, let's move on.
Sorry, we're not speaking to an empty room. I'd like to recognise one of our dear listeners, Adam. Hi, Adam. Who did speak to me face to face during the week. And hang on, what did we watch last week?
Last week we watched a film. A film with actors.
Yes.
Who played roles.
Yes.
And those roles were certainly relevant to the film. It was The Imitation Game. We watched The Imitation Game last week.
Well, it might have been the week before that Adam spoke to me. So,
Battle Royale was the week before.
Indeed, yes. So Adam did ask, is Battle Royale worth watching? And I said yes. And he said, right, I will have to track it down. And I said, good luck. And then I'd said, I will have words with the owner of his copy.
Oh, sure.
And yes, there we go, Adam. We'll get it to you so that you can just don't watch it with the kids.
No.
Okay, that's that segment out of the way. Let's move on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed. Okay.
It's my turn.
It is, and I am led to believe that you have made a choice.
I have made a choice. I'm running with the theme here. I figure that with the director, whose name always eludes me as to how to pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure it's Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. We're going to stick with him, and I believe that Jojo Rabbit is now available on one of the streaming services that we have access to.
Ooh. That would be nice.
It would help very much so, because we do not own a copy of it.
Yeah, it was produced by probably a 20th Century Fox, and
right.
so
it's now on.
Will have ended up on Star.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to go for Jojo Rabbit, which I believe you have not seen.
I've not, no.
I have. I saw it flying over the Pacific Ocean. So.
Fox Searchlight, of course.
Okay, Fox Searchlight. For those of you in countries that do not have Star within Disney Plus, it's all very confusing.
Might be on Hulu.
It might
be. US.
Yeah, so yes, middle of the Atlantic Ocean on my first major international flight, and
shortly followed by the event.
That's right. And my last international flight. Yes, so I recall certain bits of it, but because of my anxiety on said flight, I don't know how much I took in. So, yes, we could be in for a treat or a massive confusion, or who knows.
It's not on Hulu at all. It's on HBO Max.
Ah. Okay. So, I think you've been provided with plenty of options for...
Assuming you live in one of 2 countries that we have checked.
Indeed.
Well, we're continuing on a Taika Waititi track.
Yes.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that we might continuing along that Taika Waititi track.
Oh, are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1?
I may be thinking of that, yes.
Right. But which one?
The remaining one that is on the shelf.
That is on the shelf? Oh, spoilers. Let's not spoil it for our dear listener.
Let's not. But
we will talk about this behind the scenes, behind the curtain. In the meantime, we hope that you can join us next week, where we will make a far deal more sense than we have this week. Until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
Oh, you're wanting to watch...
I am, yes.
That sounds like a good call.
As opposed to Moana, which is the other one that he wrote that's on the shelf.
He wrote Moana, did
He did.
Is that right?
He did, yes.
Oh. Moana. You ugly. Oh, no, sorry, that's Johnny Lingo. Which won't mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but, oh well. Hang on, let's hit stop. Good. Okay. Are we ready? I think I've got levels now.
Oh, have you just?
Yes, I do. So, yes, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B.
No.
You thought you could catch me off guard, just barreling right into the mid-section, didn't you?
Yep.
But you couldn't.
No, there's no tricking you. You got to get up pretty early. No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Yes, we're going to watch this. Let's do it.